my third art in residency in Desert Dairy, and each time I get inspired by the landscape to do my installation. This year I chose this spot here because I really liked the landscape here, the slope, and to see the expanses and the dunes. So I like to think about energy and resources in my work and beyond in my life too. For this installation, I use rocks. They are here, and they were here for millions of years. And there's no transformation. I use them as they are, which is interesting because if I think about the installations I did before, the first one, I used elements I found on site, and they were objects made of plastic for most of them, and I used that in the installation. So they were manufactured objects that I repurposed, that I put in the installation. The second time I used branches, sticks from the oasis that I found on the ground at the oasis here, the tamarisk sticks, and I made a structure out of them. This time I used the rocks and I moved them around. So as a material, it was very interesting to use this and only this. And talking about energy, I used my body's energy to move them around, right? So it was really minimal in a way. I used the very basic energy, which is the human energy, and then material that was not transformed. So I got inspired to use the rocks here. They are very beautiful. So the idea is to use them and not to move them around too much. So I'm in the site where there are the most of them. This is a piece that is organically growing with the landscape on this slope, and slowly but surely the lines are getting longer. The great thing here is to be able first to choose a place that will be part of the piece. This is not possible in a setting of a studio, or if the work is shown in a construction, right, in a home. This is the home, and the home is humongous. It has no limits, and for me this is very important, the way it sits here and the way it participates, the piece participates in the landscape. So when you see it, you see the landscape at the same time. So this immense expanse is really, really part of what I do. So the piece for me is completely connected to this very place. So the expanses here are absolutely wonderful to work with. And the more I come to this place and the more I work in this desert, the more I envision new possibilities. It was a slow process to make this installation. I did not come with a preconceived idea. I really let the landscape inspire me. So the name of the piece is Slow Down. And I think it's an important word. I think we will have to reflect on it one way or another. And hopefully we are, as a society, going to slow down. Maybe it's about mobility, maybe it's about the consumerism that we are going to have to minimize, and hopefully it will be by choice. We are not going to be obliged to do it, and it can be a beautiful turn to be more resilient and to really be part of this decision, right? What do we want? Where do we want to head to?